Howdy, howdy folks, it is Diecastbuffet here again, and I don't know why, but I am reviewing my first ever Spin Master diecast today. Oh my goodness, man, this is a blast from the past, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm not really a fan of this mold, but nonetheless, we're gonna do a freaking diecast review on it, so make sure to give it a big thumbs up for Jimmie Johnson, and let's hop into this guy. So this is a 2011, I believe, 2011 Kobalt Tools Lowe'S Chevrolet Impala. It's used, obviously, it's been open, but it's actually in unbelievably good shape. Yeah, you got a few little scratches here and there, but nonetheless, though, the splitter, I mean, this thing is absolutely in great shape here. So, this was, for those who don't know what the Spin Master line was, back in 2011, in 2012, and I think 2013 as well, they had the NASCAR Authentics line. It's not what you think it is, though. It's not the Authentics you see nowadays. The Authentics line back in 2011, 12, 13, etc. had a separate mold. They actually went on a little bit longer than that, I believe. But they had a separate mold. So this diecast looks absolutely nothing like the actual 2011 Gold Series card. You know, the cards that come in boxes like this, right? So they had a completely different mold and blah, 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 blah. A lot of people liked them. A lot of people like myself didn't. But nonetheless, it's a diecast. You know, you got to be grateful for it, right? But what a interesting paint scheme here, guys. So, you got the Lowe's decal right here on the nose. I like that dark blue with the black and kind of a what do you call this? A appliance gray. That's what I'm going to call it. You know, something you would see in your kitchen. Got the bright yellow 48 right there. Unfortunately, you got some, you got a bullet hole right there in the front of the car. Got another bullet hole there. I got Goodyear Gatorback belts, Moog, Comp, Edelbrock, Sunoco. Now, the splitter here is very, very nice. Love that Jimmie Johnson yellow. Now, what's weird is the bottom of it here. This is, I do not like the front ends on these cars, okay? Because look at this. The whole car is flat. From here, it's pretty well flat. Then it has just odd-looking front valence. It chaps my hind end thinking about it. Look, when it comes to diecast, this even goes back to Hot Wheels collecting. I don't like fantasy molds. It needs to be 100% accurate to the real car or I'm not interested. That's the God honest truth. That's just how I've been my whole life. I've always liked realistic die-cast molds. I don't care if it's a Hot Wheels car, it needs to look realistic. That's just my honest opinion. I don't like the goofy molds. And that's why I really don't like the Spin Master NASCAR era. We got the Jimmie Johnson signature there. I mean, love that. Beautiful, beautiful stuff right there. Let's go and get a little bit closer look at this. So, basically what happened to Spin Master and why they flew the coop is they got bought out by Lionel Racing, right? They took over the NASCAR Authentics line. So, these were carried in your local retail stores, right? Well, when they bought it out, I think it was 2015 or 2016, that's when we started to see these diecasts, what we would call the L mold diecasts. They were also sold in retail stores again. So that was an amazing thing because you got rid of this mold and we actually got more accurate diecast molds. So we got some extremely small contingencies here. We got Hendrick.com or HendrickMotorsports.com, I don't think. It's way before Larson, right? Freightliner, Bosch, and something else. Quaker State, back when they used to be a Hendrick sponsor. Kobalt Tools, love that Lowe's decal. Then you have a three-dimensional American ethanol ring. Got the 48 right there with the Jack Post arrow. What is that? BeTheMatch.org right there. Got Sprint Cup Series, missing Pole Award logo. And then you also have NASCAR Race Car, Mechanics Wear, Holly, 3M, USG, and Jegs. Got the Goodyear decal there. Over here to the back end of this car, and look, again, I do not like fantasy molds. I can't stand them. So the whole back end of this car is weird, right? Because it looks like the top of the back end is wide, but the bottom is really, like, narrow. Ugh, it drives me nuts. And the giant spoiler, holy crap. So you got Kobalt right there, next generation of tough tools. Who remembers the Kobalt 400 at Las Vegas? Those are some cool days. Got the Chevrolet bow tie right there. Got the 48 with the bullet hole through it. And you got the Quaker State decal there. Of course, if you want to pick up some really cool diecasts that are not produced on this mold, make sure to go check out Circle B Diecast and use the promo code DIECASTbuffet. Any order is $20 or more. Hats, t-shirts, 164 diecasts, 124 diecasts, you freaking name it. Who wants to pay $10 for a 124 to get shipped? Who wants to pay $5, $10, $15 for your 164 hauls? Screw that. Get free shipping with the promo code Diecastbuffet down below. Any orders $20 or more. So over to the right side of this diecast here, and I believe the gray on this car is actually supposed to be metallic. I could be mistaken on that one. If it is supposed to be metallic, that's a big oof, because I am a big fan of accurate paint codes, right? You got to make sure the codes are right on these things. It doesn't look bad, right? Like if this was the normal paint scheme, it don't look bad. But I mean, if this is supposed to have a metallic silver, then you know what are you doing? You got to make sure it's metallic silver. That's just how I see it. Anyways, go to the top of the car here. The 48 on this thing, I just kind of noticed this. There's a odd gap between the 4 and the 8. It's really hard to see if you're not really looking hard enough. But something just looks kind of off, right? Like that gap there, it's just, I don't know. Maybe they had to change the font for it just a little bit to, you know, get it made. But something does not look right with this 48 font. Now that I've noticed it, I cannot unnotice it. So you go over here to the deck lid of this diecast. Got Kobalt tools once again there. But, you know, honestly, I am totally glad we got rid of the Spin Master exclusive line, because to me, the diecasts were really, really odd. Look, these make great, like, fantasy diecasts, right? You know, you can even go back to the Hot Wheels days of NASCAR diecast when they had the NASCAR Shockers line. It was like a weird, like, you know, crazy looking car. Or they even had the fantasy paint schemes where they would take like Johnny Benson's Valvoline paint scheme and they'd put it on a truck, or Jeff Burton's Sitco paint scheme, and they'd put it on a helicopter, or a blimp, or a boat. You know, I'm totally cool with that stuff. The things I don't like, though, is when you don't have options, right? And the only way you can get NASCAR diecast in your store at that time was through this mold. And I got to be honest with you, I'm not really impressed with it. And I think to top it all off, and I'll probably end the video on this, is that it looks so weird to the normal cars. If you look at it from this angle, I would honestly bet that this is a Chevrolet Xfinity Camaro. That looks like a Chevrolet Xfinity Camaro, does it not? I'm going to be honest with you, it does. And then you look at it from this side, it's like, oh, it's a goofy Impala. When you take this car and you compare it to 2012 Eric Almirola diecast. Now, you can clearly see the wheels are so much more realistic. The front nose is so much more proportioned. The spoiler is not a giant billboard, right? This is how a car is supposed to look. And when you have a stop motion and you have both of these cars there, something does not look right, okay? Something does not look right. And it's a big reason why all of the COTs I have in my collection they all have to have the same Goodyear wheels. I can't use a Gen 6 era wheel or a Winston Cup era wheel. It has to all be the same wheels. All of them has to be the same mold. I can't have a hood opening COT that has extreme detail, and all of my other COTs are non-detailed and whatnot. I don't want a contender series mold because they're extremely weird looking. That's just a pet peeve as a collector. There's a lot of people who like this, right? But in my honest opinion, I am very glad it went. But I wanted to do a review on it. It's still a really cool car, just not my personal cup of tea. But nonetheless, very grateful to have it, guys. What do y'all think about this Jimmie Johnson car from way back in 2011, which a lot of people consider that was kind of an off year, right? He won five straight championships, and then you kind of take a little bit of a pause. And then 2012, he almost beats Brad. Then he finally secures it back in 2013. But have a great one, everybody. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next NASCAR Diecast review or gameplay video or unboxing. Anything on the channel, folks. Have a great one. Diecastbuffet signing off.